Heavy snow fell in northeastern Pennsylvania on Friday, including in the Pocono Mountains, leaving thousands without power over the weekend. Higher elevations reported as many as 17 inches of snow, with lesser accumulations in valley cities including Scranton and Wilkes-Barre. Around 35,000 customers in 10 counties are still without power, down from 80,000 a day ago. The snow had begun to melt after Friday's first snowstorm pummeled Susquehanna County, but the Speakeasy Saloon and Resort was still without power Saturday. Owner Courtney Durante said that a couple of people had to cancel their rooms, which is hard on the business. She also mentioned that not being able to open was equally challenging. "We didn't think it was going to be this much. We expected we were supposed to get snow, but no one ever thought we were going to lose power and be out for days. And we're used to snow here, but this is a lot," said Durante.
We had a couple people that actually had to cancel their rooms and everything, which kind of, I mean, it's hard of the business now. And not being able to be open is also hard of the business. Just shuffling everything around and making sure everything, I mean, the generators that we do have, they're pumping for the coolers. So, I mean, it's not enough to run the whole place. This place is huge. We didn't think it was going to be this much. I mean, we expected we were supposed to get snow, but I mean, no one ever thought we were going to lose power and be out for days. And I mean, we're used to the snow here, but this is a lot.
We were driving places and we were watching the wires fall and trees fall. It was very heavy, wet snow. And a lot of people that still don't have power will be here. There'll be food, drinks, warm.
Heavy downpours fell over much of Northern California on Friday, causing small landslides, overflowing a river and flooding some streets, including in parts of San Francisco. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people were still without power in the Seattle area after several days in the dark. The storm arrived in the Pacific Northwest earlier this week, killing 2 people and knocking out power to hundreds of thousands, mostly in the Seattle area, before moving through Northern California, where several roads were closed due to flooding and strong winds toppled trees. A small mudslide threatened a home in the community of Fitch Mountain, near Healdsburg, nestled in hills along the Russian River in Sonoma County. Moderate rain was falling, and officials worried the slide could grow and hit several homes downhill.
US national intelligence has compiled a report on the murders of Putin's political opponents abroad. At the request of Bloomberg, the report was partially declassified. The declassified part listed a number of murders. Intelligence concluded that these murders were committed by Russian special services and with Putin's permission. First on the list is the murder in 2004 in Qatar of the former head of the self-proclaimed Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Zelimkhan Landabiev. The killers, Russian GRU officers Anatoly Belashkov and Vasily Bogachev, were sentenced to life in Qatar, but were then handed over to the Russian Federation, where they were to sit behind bars for the rest of their lives. However, in 2005, the Federal Penitentiary Service said it did not know where these people were. Then, there is the murder of former FSB officer Alexander Litvinenko in London in 2006. He was poisoned with radioactive polonium and died of radiation sickness. The investigation in Great Britain named the immediate perpetrator of the murder as an officer of the main Directorate of Security of the Russian Federation, Andrei Lugovoy, who later became a State Duma deputy, and the murder itself as a special operation of the FSB. Also on the list is the 2012 murder in Britain of Russian businessman Alexander Perepilichny. He was a key informant in a money laundering case in Europe by Russian officials and was killed shortly before he was due to testify in court. A US intelligence report said he was poisoned, although British police found little evidence. The death of Luhansk militant commander of the Batman unit, Alexander Bednov, in 2015 is also mentioned. The armoured bus in which Bednov was travelling was shot at by armed men. Bednov and his subordinates had previously refused to comply with the demands of the LNR leaders. US intelligence has suggested that Bednov and several other prominent L/DPR leaders were killed on orders from the Kremlin to consolidate its control over the occupied parts of Ukraine. US intelligence has stated that the Kremlin uses intelligence services abroad to kill those it considers a threat to its regime. It noted that in addition to the murders mentioned, there are others, but there is less data on them. US intelligence predicts that the murders of those who interfere with Putin are likely to continue. There are also plenty of high-profile murders within Russia itself that the Kremlin could be behind. It is worth recalling the death of Boris Nemtsov, an opposition figure who supported Ukraine and was a critic of the Putin regime. He was shot dead on February the 27th, 2015 in central Moscow, not far from the Kremlin. And in October 2006, Anna Politkovskaya, an opposition journalist, was killed. She was shot in the entrance to her building in the center of Moscow. The investigators were unable to establish the motives or the person who ordered the crime. One of the main areas of her work was the topic of Chechnya.